And we've got a Mark II Capri, which is a very rare beast in the left lane. Tortoise hair kind of deal. Okay, we've got Freddie's. Yeah, we've got Freddie's Mark III Capri. I believe this car may have been around for a while in various guises, or it might be a new build. I'm gonna just say it's a very nice looking piece. He was testing yesterday. I'm not sure what motor it's got in it. I don't know if it's a small block or a big block, but I'm pretty certain it's got a Chevy in it. And then a beautiful Consul Zephyr in the left lane. They've been quite a handy car for quite a few years because they're quite small, but you can stuff a reasonable size motor in them. And I don't think if you put them as a tube chassis, they're not a particularly big car. They do make a pretty mean street car, that's a fact. Yeah, a little bit of movement there, perhaps just a little bit too much power. That we ran. They bought a beautiful Dodge Dart. Unfortunately, it rodded itself, had a Hemi in it, and it rodded itself on its first pass. But the way it picked up and went, that would have been a player. As it was, they've now got this one. We'll see what this does.
You still got the Dart. It runs down into 8s now.
Yep, that's right.
Going to keep that one for mainstream drag racing. This one is purely for the no pressure.
Yeah, when I spoke to them, so they've got a Dodge Dart same as my one. When I spoke to them about putting a wing on my Dodge, you said, yeah, we ended up putting a wing on ours at 135 mile an hour because it was moving around. Mine was lacer than that, but same deal. It needed a wing.
So he put in, I can't remember his, in fact I only asked his surname, I forgot to ask his first name last night, the driver of said beast. Oh, you're struggling too, not to worry, we'll find out.
I'm not sure which of the two brothers actually is driving this weekend.
Carrying the front end, maximum weight transfer, or mass transfer onto the rear axle. So we jacked the car up, removed that, and he still went out and did a nice run. Well, controlled wheel spin off the start line, but arrows
on the start line, but you'd expect that. But he got everything else down, and he hooked it. It went A to B.
Twin float bowls, I'm presuming it's a Dominator, yeah? Or
yeah, there'll be a big Dominator, like a 1300 CFM or something like that.
A way to empty your fuel tank in miles, folks.
Another one coming in, look, grey one, skyline behind it.
make some pretty powerful versions of this. I don't think this one's going to be a slouch, but it just needs to, like a lot of people, this is where you come to learn when it comes to using a Christmas tree. You can go, guys. What we have on the sideline is a couple of very dear friends of mine. You've got Brian Woskett. Now that car used to run in Custom Car Street Eliminator a long time ago. He's still got it. It runs a Kirkhafer fuel injection system, which is usually used on boats. It's not something you get on cars. It's very rare. Beautiful car. And then you've got John Dewey with a beautiful 57 Chevy. This runs a manual transmission and it's got a monster motor in it. Nice pair of runs. Beauties of those kind of cars is you've got a lot more tunability. Instead of just using your right foot, you can put a map into it to drop the boost, drop the timing, and then power manage it as you go down the track.
I'm presuming as he's going to Sleethy that they'll be running fuel tech, yeah, because he's the main agent for them.
I believe it has a fuel tech system on it, yeah, I think you're right.
And I have to say that man, it's just, he's a genius. He does a lot of chassis building, but he's got a dyno and his tunes are incredible. And he's just a down-to-earth northern boy, and I've always loved him from the first time I met him.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much power on that one. That may need pulling a little bit out. I think sportsman drag racing in this country is bracket racing. So with bracket racing, although everyone tries and wants their cars to be faster,
it's consistency, yeah.
That kind of car that Matt's got is not a consistent car. So because it's not a consistent car, because of the power adder,
pretty sure it's a Honda, isn't it?
yeah, it could be.
Anyway, if you're new to the world of no-drag racing and some of these classes are like, what the heck does that mean? Well, the first two you're going to... Well, we mentioned Pro Mod a few times there. We have a bit of Pro Mod royalty with us this weekend. Mr. Hill's back with the 51 Fleet line, which apparently I was told is not as heavy as it looks, but not as heavy as it looks. It looks really, really heavy. That means it's just really heavy. So we saw a good, solid baseline run about a half an hour ago from the car. That was in the left-hand lane. Your man is being very sensible. Chris choosing the right-hand lane this time, getting equal experience in both lanes, because once you go into competition, you could end up in either lane. And you've got to know what your car's going to do on any given day. Wow, check out that little Metropolitan! Manston Raceway official Facebook page. And believe me when I genuinely say, we would welcome constructive criticism. So if there's something that you've seen that you've not seen that you had expected, or something that you've seen and thought, oh, that wasn't quite right, please let us know. If you do it politely in the public forum, that's great. If you've got a real grumble, then contact one of the organisers and we'll do our very best, because this is all about maximum enjoyment for everybody involved. Working here, racing and spectating, we want to evolve this into the best possible day out you can have.
He actually worked with, I think they're Polish, the team that he works with.
Chris Skinner, the Taz boss, the man who first came out with a 126 with a bonkers V8 in it, oh, so many years ago. It must be 22, 23 years ago. They would come along, Taz Racing would come along to Run What You Brungs and Saturday night specials, and then Ultimate Streetcar, they would always come along en masse. You're guaranteed entertainment and excitement when they turn up. So the Austin pickup, they'd just about finished setting that car up when I retired from this. Oh, it's a nice, good side-by-side. So it's a Plymouth Scamp in the left-hand lane. If you're good with your muscle car spotting, and probably better than me because I'm a bit rusty, yes, it does look exactly like a Dodge Dart, exactly like Grumpy's Toy, the machine that Paul Marston has owned and run for many, many years. But it's one of those rebadge things. A few bits and pieces got changed on the vehicle. It's definitely a Plymouth Scamp, or as they call it, Scampy, down there in the left-hand lane. John back round with the Mustang. If you remember when he did his last pass, about 45 minutes ago, a few issues down on the start line. I didn't need to turn it off, but the crew got the door open, chatting to John himself. And he put in a good, solid enough pass, but it was nowhere near as impressive as his last two passes last night.
Yeah, I've just been running around a lot, sorry Paul.
I'm only wearing one hat this weekend, it's fantastic.
He doesn't like...
First 2 decades of operation. It was years before they started sledding the actual track surface the whole way down, and years after that they did full prep with the glue. You know, in my early days of commentating, it was only really the start line that got glue.
Oh yeah, we're not using glue, which kind of levels it a bit. Now there's a lot of power management in that one, definitely.
When the crew come round to pick up that towing ticket, they're going to be smiling.
They will be happy. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Now, I was just about to say, I suspect, holy Moses, but not the quickest.
No,
We had a
that was
one
pretty
last
good,
night.
but The thing is, the day will evolve because obviously the air's not as good as it used to be, which does come into a little bit. But more than anything else with these kind of tracks, it is time management. And it depends on how well they manage it. But they've got to also take into account the fact the atmospherics will change it. It's a game of poker.
Funny feeling.
That's a better run. Much better.
That is seriously impressive, and he's gaining a lot of respect within the sport, so things going very well. Whoa, squiggly, squiggly.
He's quick.
Well, big tyre versus small tyre this time, apparently. Oh. But can that be a small tyre in the other lane? I don't think so. Maybe I misheard. There's a radio in the other end that I'm listening to the track stuff, so I can try and keep up to date with the cars that are coming on track.
You know, he's standing at the back.
Yeah, I know, I see it going on.
Good, solid run in the left-hand lane there.
It's a pretty run by the looks of it.
Anybody's got 20 amp mini blade fuse, that would be appreciated.
Actually been racing here since it was Screaming Alley Raceway back in the day. I actually raced here as well. It was down the other end of the airport, but Bill raced here as well. Me and him both have been here in another lifetime, it seems.
Yeah, so I was familiar with Screaming Alley, you know, from time to time on the UK specific drag racing Facebook pages. You know, we're definitely running tailgate cars, aren't we? Because we have plenty of pickups and far more than I realised.
I'm not sure how many are actually in competition. We'll find out.
Arlo Brown is out there somewhere. Young Mr. Arlo Brown, 7 years old today. Big happy birthday to Arlo, and